Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm back with another speed build, and this is going to be a pretty spacious family home in a more coastal style. We're building in the world of Brindleton Bay, which is one of my favorite worlds in The Sims 4, and I feel like I haven't built something in this style in a while. And also, since we just finished creating so many small apartments in San Myshuno, I've been doing so many small spaces lately, I thought it was time to sit down and do something a little bit more spacious. So I'm really excited to share this build with you all. I'm really happy with how it came out. It ends up being a, I believe, 3 or 4 bedroom house. I changed my mind a couple of different times about some of the rooms upstairs, whether they were going to be bedrooms or other rooms. So you'll see as it all comes together. And if you'd like to download this build, it is available right now on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. So as you can see here, I did start by creating like this one little section of the house and then building onto that. I had like a vague idea of some roofing shapes I wanted to include, and this was a really experimental, just like hanging out, build in my own time build, and those tend to be my favorites. When I don't have like a very clear vision, I'm just experimenting. So that is what you're going to see a lot of here. We're just playing with the roof here now. But before we get too much further into this build, I did want to take a moment to say thank you to today's sponsor. So thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and I've been working with them for a while, and it's been such a time saver. I'm definitely not the most skilled in the kitchen, but HelloFresh makes it so easy with pre-portioned ingredients and easy to follow directions. Some of my favorite dishes have been the spicy Tex-Mex cheesy chicken and the sesame crusted chicken salad, and they were both quick 15-minute meals, which were easy to fit in between filming and editing. Whether you're trying to save money, eat better, or stress less, HelloFresh is here to help you do all three. HelloFresh has more options to support your wellness journey than ever before, so you can dig into their biggest menu with over 45 dinner options, 20-minute recipes, and more. And when you try HelloFresh, you'll get free dessert for life. Yes, free dessert. Just choose your recipes and select a delivery date. HelloFresh does the rest. Click the link in my description or use my code on screen to receive 16 free meals and free dessert for life while subscription is active. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. So working on the sort of middle section of the house, I changed my mind a few different times about where the front door is going to be and the overall shape. But right now I am trying to create this section that has a couple of dormers on the top floor, and I decided to actually extend the roof over the front and back porch as well. And it's just going to be a really long process. This is actually one of my longer builds, so I hope you are ready to hang out with me for the next half an hour or so while we go through this build. I wanted to include as much of it as possible. I, of course, always cut out a lot of I changed the swatch 700 times, or I linger or rotate around things too many times, because I do have a problem with placing an item down or decorating a space and then rotating it to look at it from every single angle possible. And I know that can be a little hard to watch sometimes and cause some motion sickness. So I try and cut out a lot of that, but I still keep in a lot of the build. So I don't know, just thought I would explain that. You never know who is new here. And yeah, I really love the shape of these sorts of roofs. There's something I really enjoy building in the game, and they're a little finicky because you need a lot of roof pieces. And one thing that I think is really interesting I did about this build, and I don't know why I did it because it made it way more complicated, is I was doing all of this. I already have all the weird roof pieces. And then a little bit later, I decided, you want to know what would be fun? Want to know what would be a great idea? Why don't we add a diagonal portion to this build? So you'll see that come together later on. The roofing was a nightmare to try and get it to work, but I actually really like the shape of this house. I think it's a little bit fun and more interesting than some of the ones I've done in the past. So it overall was a good idea. It just caused a little bit of frustration, or maybe a little bit more than a little bit along the way. But here I am just adding some of these shutters to these windows. These ones are from Horse Ranch. I believe that's the only pack right now that we have that has like individual shutters. I really hope they add more to the game at some point, because it'd be nice to have a lot of different styles. But I ended up stacking 2 on top of each other so I could make this a thinner version. And I played around with Tool a little bit for resizing and moving them up and down to more precisely place them. But the shape here is starting to come together of part of the house, and I just really like it. I love these dormers with these pretty windows. I'm pretty much only using windows from the Snowy Escape pack. I think they are so versatile. They work with so many different styles. And so I loved putting that here. But as you can see, since I keep changing my mind about the size of these sections, I keep having to redo the windows, which was not very fun. So some of that I include, some of it I don't, because it's just very repetitive seeing me move the windows over and over. But I do have to do that quite a few times as I change the size here. And it's a little frustrating because of how annoying it is to place the shutters at the right heights. So here I am fixing this up. I layer a couple of windows so that it looks like we have that more like paned window on the top and then a clear section on the bottom. And then I have the big window in the center. I think it looks really cute, but it was kind of annoying to redo all of this. It looks like I'm showing some of it right now, but I know there were quite a few pieces of it that I cut out because I just keep resizing everything. But anyway, over here, I decided to add a chimney space kind of coming off of the front porch. I thought it would look nice and kind of split up the build a little bit. I was not really happy with how the front was looking, but I couldn't really figure out why. And I thought doing that helped. And then I'm adding some fencing out here and I believe some stairs too in a moment. But first, I'm playing around with the wallpapers. I knew I kind of wanted to have this, I don't know what to call this texture. It looks like roof texture to me, but it's really common in these styles of homes. And we have it with cats and dogs, but also with Get Famous. So I tried the Get Famous one first and I didn't like it. And I ended up going with this one from Cats and Dogs, actually in this beige swatch. I feel like every time I use this siding, I use it in blue, which isn't something I use very often anyway, but it was nice to switch it up and use beige. And I actually kept it the whole time. I didn't change it in the end, which is nice. Because there's a lot of things where I'm like, oh, I'm going to try something I haven't done before. Usually it's a different color window than white. And then I get rid of it in the end. But for this one, I originally planned for white windows and I kept them. But it was nice that I actually did end up keeping the beige. I think it's really nice and a little bit different. And that's always my favorite thing in the game, when I can build something that feels a little bit different than other things I've done. And I just felt like this home came together so easily once I figured out like the shape. Like I said, right now it feels like it's coming together easily and I love it. And then that's going to become a nightmare once I add the diagonal portion because parts of it came together easily, but other parts were very frustrating. But it's fine. It was worth it in the end. I'm really happy with it. I hope you like it as well. Definitely let me know what you think. I'm also building on a lot that I never built on in Brindleton Bay, primarily because the lighting on this lot is really bad, which right now it looks fine. But later on, it's like in complete shadows in the front and I couldn't get it to go back even if I reloaded the lot. So that was very frustrating. And I ended up like flipping it around to do some of the building at some point, I'm pretty sure. And I also changed seasons, so the grass will change color a little bit later too. But anyway, this is that diagonal portion. I'm starting to play with the roof here, trying to figure out how it connects. I'm not really liking it yet, and I ended up pushing it back, and I actually will be adding a not diagonal portion added to that, so the diagonal portion kind of connects different parts of the build, which I think worked way better because it just seemed a little odd. I was originally thinking this would be a good garage space, so I was trying to figure out how to make that work, and you can see connecting roof pieces on different angles is not fun. It's very frustrating, and it did take a little while to figure out, but we get there in the end. It's not perfect, but I think it came out pretty good considering how difficult it is to work with diagonals in this game. So here I am just playing more with the roofing here. I wanted to have some sort of bump out over on this side, having a little dormer up there so you could put windows. And I end up putting that on the back as well, and I'm pretty sure I get rid of that in the end, or maybe it's the front one. One of them I get rid of because I had to add something else in that space. It might be the back. I think I added another chimney, but we'll see that when we get there. It's all a process, rotating this roof all around, trying to figure out the best way to lay it out and make it look cohesive with the rest of the house. So we're adjusting the roof pitch there, getting the same windows and the columns that I have on the ends, and painting some more here and, replacing columns that I realized were missing. This is where I'm going to put the garage. I do scale it up slightly with Tool and then lower it down so it's not floating because I do have a foundation on this house, but I wanted this to look like there was no foundation over here. Which I think worked fine. It looks pretty good in my opinion. It's not a functional door, it's just a decorative piece. And then I added some more windows down here as well. And you can see there's so many walls inside here. I had a long period of time just deleting walls and trying to figure it out. But the shape looks pretty close to how it's going to be in the end now, and I think it's so cute. It's a really unique one, and I was so happy with it. I love that you have the beautiful ocean view behind this house. I believe I'm going to call this like a coastal family home, or like family home on the ocean, or seaside family. I'm not sure which yet. Probably coastal. I just thought this lot was so beautiful, and it's just not one I use very often. So I was really excited about that. I have a couple of lots I use the most often in Brindleton Bay. There's the couple that are by where Brent and Brant live, and then Bedlington Boathouse I use a lot. But this one is, I can't read what it is. It should be on the upper left-hand corner of the screen. But this is just not one I use very often. So it was a nice change of pace. Anyway, we are back in the backyard space now, and I am drawing out a fence to close this space in, and I should be adding a second back balcony space or porch space that's actually going to come off of the primary bedroom. I thought it would be nice to have that. Or actually, did I change that? I think it is off of the primary bedroom. I did change my mind a couple of times about where the back doors were coming off of, though, because the floor plan I had to play around with quite a bit because it's a weird shape with the diagonals. But anyway, we are working on some more landscaping now. I start with this and I get a little bit of it done, and then we go to the inside and I finish the rest of it at the end because I was getting a little frustrated with it. I liked it, but there was something like missing and I wasn't sure what. So we will take a break from it and come back. But I do like how it's coming out so far here, just getting some pathways from the front door and to the garage, and we will get some debug cars out here as well, since we do not have functional ones in the game. I mention that a lot because I always get questions when I post a video that has decorative cars outside. When did we get cars? We didn't. These are just the ones you see in the background of the world driving by. It's just you can access them through cheats, and it just makes houses look more realistic. But here I am just grabbing some big trees and trying to fill out the lot with those. I didn't want it to feel like this house was just kind of plopped here. So I always try and play around with the landscaping quite a bit. Landscaping is one of my favorite parts of building in the game, so I'm always excited to do that. I also am adding another bump out over here, and this is actually where the primary bedroom is going to be. I felt like there was something missing from this side, so I decided to add that. And I feel like it helped the back of the house quite a bit. So that is the door I added into that space. And then we are starting to work on the floor plan. And I did cut out a huge chunk right here because I could not figure out what to do with this front entryway. Because you walk in and then there's a door. And then you just like walk straight through. So actually what I did is it's an entryway. And then off to the side there's a laundry room. There's a closet in here. And you can enter into the main part of the house. So it's mostly just an entry space, but I felt like adding the built-in closet and the laundry room really helped to separate that space out. But anyway, through this space where I do have the fireplace, that's going to be the living room. We have a big bathroom through here. And then I am playing around with this area, trying to figure out the best way to fix up the floor plan there and also add some more rooms over here. Of course, I wanted to add a garage because I did add the garage door, but I was a little unsure about how to differentiate the spaces and lay them out. Oh, wait, I did put that door into that ended up being into the kitchen instead, which makes so much more sense because the other exit to the backyard is in the entryway. So that makes sense that I did change that. It's not out of the primary bedroom, but the primary bedroom is like right next to that area. I also used a couple of these really big archways from Growing Together. I think they are so pretty. And so I thought that they worked nicely here. And then I'm upstairs working on the floor plan. This room at the end, I did not know what to do with at first because it's such a strange shape and it didn't really fit a bedroom. So I ended up doing what I do in a lot of builds when I have a room like that, which it's like an extra like rumpus room, family room space. So there's like a big TV and there's some kids' toys and a giant couch. And it's a nice space. But, you know, you can repurpose it for whatever you want. It could make a really nice giant bedroom if you'd prefer to have that, or like an art studio or an exercise room, really anything you'd like it to be. You can customize my builds however you'd like if you download them. But I just threw some random skill building items in there at first. If you see items just popping up around the build, I do that in pretty much every build to remind myself what I'm thinking each space is going to be. Otherwise, I sometimes will like put the rooms in the wrong rooms and then I will get frustrated because, oh yeah, the kitchen worked great in the spot I had the living room planned for, but the living room does not fit into the kitchen area. So it ends up being kind of frustrating. But anyway, we are starting on the kitchen now, and I did use these countertops from the Parenthood game pack. They're some of my favorites in the game. I think they are so pretty. This blue swatch is gorgeous, and I'm always happy to use it. We have so many good blue swatches in the game. It's always really nice to use these, and I'm always looking for more countertops and cabinets in the game. I really hope we get more in the future. I know we're getting one more build kit this quarter, and it said celebratory, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think that one's going to be a kitchen kit, but I would love to get more kitchen kits, not only actual counters and stuff, but I would love a kitchen clutter kit. Since we have the bathroom clutter kit and the everyday clutter kit, can we get a kitchen clutter kit? Because that'd be great. But I would just love another kitchen set in general. Any pack that adds that is always a really exciting one for me. Our most recent one was with the For Rent expansion pack. And I do like that one. I haven't used it that much, so maybe I will put that on my list as trying to do something inspired by that kitchen, because I think it's really nice. It's just, for some reason, one I haven't used that often. Probably because I have some favorites, and sometimes it's hard to get away from those. The Home Chef Hustle one is so good, but so is the Parenthood one. And we've had this one for a long time, and it's still really up there. But yeah, I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. I wanted it to feel like a lived-in family home. So we have a calendar in here. We have all kinds of different dishes and stuff around. Over here on this side, I decided to make this a area to put some appliances. So I'm bringing over the same tile that I had and getting a coffee pot and a pressure cooker. I also ended up putting this corkboard over here for your Sims and just decorating the space. I had a lot of fun with decorating this space because it's such a giant kitchen, and I don't typically have this big of a kitchen in a house. So it was a little bit different, and I enjoyed that. I also really love the sink that comes with the Parenthood pack. It looks so nice under those windows, and I was able to clutter up these side pieces here. I also got a magazine or some sort of schoolwork open on the counter. It looks like a kid could be sitting there and working on their homework. I liked the idea of that, and of course getting some fruit up here as well as some utensils by the stovetop. And then I actually ended up changing this room around and making it so the dining table is actually in the longer portion, and I deleted the other wall I had over there. But I do add a small table in the kitchen, so they have a little kitchen table they can sit at to eat their breakfast or whatnot, but there's a proper dining room as well for bigger get-togethers and things like that. And of course, the hanging plant. I can't get through a build without adding that. It's just so pretty. And I got some more kids' crafts and stuff around, and a couple of rugs. Always a nice addition. So yeah, just adding another chair over here, rotating this, and of course adding a light above it. I had so much trouble deciding on one. You didn't see that though, because I cut that out because I tried 15 different lamps. But I ended up using the overhead light from high school years. I don't use that one very often, but I thought it looked really nice here. And then I just had some extra space over here. So I added a side table with some teas, some books, and a little plant that it looks like one of the kids decorated. And there is a gap right next to it between that and the countertops. So later on, I will be going back in and adding some aprons on the wall. I just didn't think of it when I was doing this. So I came back later. You'll see that towards the end of the build, I'm pretty sure. But in this dining room space, I ended up using this giant base game table and pairing it with these chairs from the Wedding Stories game pack. I think they look so pretty. And this light fixture from Cats and Dogs, I don't remember the last time I've used it, but it worked so perfectly in this space. I just think it looks so inviting and light and bright, and something about coastal homes I think is so fun to create. So I had a blast with this one, and I'll probably do some more in the future, but do let me know what other styles of homes you would like to see, whether it's a design style or the idea of what kind of family or Sims you'd like to be living in a house. I just always love reading your suggestions, and I implement a lot of them into builds. So I'd love to create some more stuff that you've been asking for. And speaking of which, I've been having so many requests for the Return of the State series, and I never really mean for it to go on hiatus. It's just I post them when I'm feeling inspired to create a state build. And I have a couple of them on my to-do list for sometime soon. So I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, sometime in April, that there should be some state builds coming out. So keep your eyes out for those. But anyway, back to the build now. I am still decorating the dining space. And I use these really pretty wood carved paintings or wood carved art pieces on the wall. They are from Horse Ranch, and I just feel like I never used those. And I loved the yellow in them. I was trying to pair yellow with blue because those colors look so nice together. And then over in this little hallway space, I just added a bunch of pictures for you to hang up like your family portraits and stuff, as well as some bookcases. And then I'm moving on into the garage, which just has like a bunch of counters in here and some skill building items. It's like the typical garage I create in The Sims. I did put our outdoor trash cans in the garage instead so that they're not an eyesore outside and your Sims can come just empty their indoor trash can here. I also got some ski storage that's from Snowy Escape, but this is Brindleton Bay, which is based on New England, and New England definitely has some skiing spots, so I thought it made sense to go ahead and have that in this garage. Also, of course, got a fire extinguisher, some tools, just trying to make it look like a garage. I really wish we had proper things for these spaces, but since we don't have cars, it makes sense that we don't. And I feel conflicted because I would like a stuff pack or a game pack, not a game pack, stuff pack or a kit or something that gave us stuff for these spaces, like functional garage doors and all of the clutter and stuff that you would want in this space. But at the same time, I feel like myself and others would also be disappointed if we got that without getting functional cars. So I really don't know how they would achieve that. I guess like bits and pieces that could be used for other spaces would be nice, but I don't know. Anyway, I did get a fishbowl out here. There's also some like boxes of old clothes and some gardening equipment. I also placed down the flower arranging table, which I thought was really cute. And just a bunch of old stuff. I feel like the basement treasures kit came in handy for this. A couple of these items are from there, and I just love having like old pieces like that. Like memories that are boxed away, those realistic touches that are in so many different homes, whether you have like a dedicated space, like a basement, a garage, an attic, or they're just tucked away in the closet. Like that's how my space is. I have like no storage in my apartment, so the closets in my office are like old memories and lots of holiday decor. It's just all stuffed in there and I have nowhere else to put it, and it's hard to even open the door because we just have so much stuff that we have nowhere to put because we don't have a proper storage space. Maybe someday if I can ever afford a house, like I will have a storage area. That'd be so nice. But, things are expensive. Anyway, this is the downstairs bathroom. I think this is the only bathroom I show in the house. I might show the primary. I don't remember. But they all have a very similar vibe to them. I use the same counters from the kitchen and all the coastal vibes. We have some of this beautiful vertical boards on the wall, and I end up actually getting rid of those, I'm pretty sure. I thought about keeping them, but then I realized how much I liked the blue tile and how that gave so much more, I guess, contrast to the space, so I ended up putting that throughout. That's a blue tile from Jungle Adventure, and I decided to use that in the kitchen and then in the bathrooms because it's not one I use as often, but I really, really like it. And then here in the living room, I opted for this couch from Growing Together because I wanted something that felt like family friendly and still went with the color scheme. And this one felt a little bit more on the modern side, but I really liked it. This is one of my favorite couches. I don't know what it is about it because it's really weird. When it first came out, when Growing Together first came out, I didn't like this couch at all. I thought it was very strange. But now I love it and I just always want to use it. So I don't know what happened that made me change my mind, but I thought it looked nice here. And I got a couple of chairs and plants and, of course, an ottoman behind the couch, which I just kind of tucked into these cabinets to make it look like there was a little seating space back there. I also added this little bunny statue, and I do get like a book bag and some like toys and stuff around. I just really wanted this space to feel lived in, and I think I achieved that. So you'll see me placing some of those items everywhere. I also got plenty of spaces to put some like family portraits and lots of artwork around. I really like the fireplace in this area as well. There ends up being a few of them in the house. There's one in here, one in the dining space, the primary bedroom, and one of the upstairs bedroom, which belongs to a teenager. So lots of fireplaces, but I think they look so pretty. That one is also from Growing Together, and I think it's one of the prettier ones in the game. I really, really like it. I also decided to add a couple of ottomans on the other side of this coffee table. I just thought functionally it was a good idea for more seating. It's also really common in real life to have additional seating like that. So if you have friends over, you can just pull over a poof and have somebody sit there. And then got a bookcase and some more decor over here. I also ended up getting a couple more wood carving pieces up above the TV. The ones I use above the TV are a different one, though. They're from a different pack. But it was kind of strange. I didn't even think about it when I did it. That I did the same kind of idea in the dining room with wood carvings I've never used, and then I used them in here too. Because I think I built these rooms on different days, but these are the ones I used here. These ones are from Growing Together, and I think they're really pretty. I used a couple of different swatches of them to make it look a little bit more interesting, but I thought that they were gorgeous. I also added a standing piano in here. I'm still not over having these in the game. I think they are so cool. I remember for years begging to get these in game and like building fake ones, which was always a bit of fun, but having functional ones is just the best. Now I don't have to add like cabinets to a keyboard anymore. We just have this, and it just feels more realistic to have this in a family home than having a grand piano. So I really enjoyed that. I added some kids' artwork up above it, as well as some like books and stuff, and a little plant over in the corner. And I think that should be it for the living room other than cluttering up this bookcase. I just grabbed some more books and a couple of other like fun items. Not that like a box is that fun, but you know what I mean. I just wanted to add some things to customize it a little bit here. I believe on the bottom shelf, I add a basket of toys from Base Game. Yeah, this one that we got when the infants came out. I thought that that was a cute place to store that and added a little bit of color. And then I added one of the other baskets over in the other corner as well, and some board games and stuff here, and just a little painting on the wall. And then I'm trying to think, what's the next room we work on? Oh, the primary bedroom. Okay, so yeah, I didn't decorate their ensuite on camera, but you can see it off to the side of the screen now. But for in this room, I used the bed from For Rent. I thought this one was really pretty and matched the wood tones I was going for. I love that the fabric that's draped over it looks kind of like it's a blue swatch, which matches everything so perfectly. And then I'm just decorating the bedside tables with some like realistic clutter. So, you know, a place to put your phone, your keys, your glasses, a water bottle, lots of stuff from the Everyday Clutter Kit, but also getting some plants as well. So there is one of my favorite plants from the Blooming Rooms kit, and I think I got books on this side. I just feel like that's such a good clutter piece you can put in pretty much any room of your Sims house, and it fills in the space really nicely. And I used the same rug from the living room, but in a different swatch, and then brought in a little dresser that's actually the matching one that came with For Rent as well. I thought that that made the most sense, and added some paintings in here from Cats and Dogs. I think that one is so pretty. I really like the Cats and Dogs paintings. They're just so perfect and nautical and coastal, so it was awesome for this build. And then over on top of the fireplace, I just added some candles and like a little box and stuff. Nothing too wild, but I just wanted it to feel like there was something up there, and something about keeping like a fireplace empty looks so not finished in the game to me, so that's what I added. But here we are in the entryway. I wanted to make sure to have a place to hang up your coats, so I used the like coat rack piece that is from Laundry Day. There's a mirror by the front door and a place to hang up your keys, get an umbrella. I really like that umbrella piece from Seasons. It's a nice clutter object, but it's actually functional as well. You can pick what umbrellas your Sims use when it's raining outside, which I think is really cool. And then this is that little back space that leads you to the backyard. I didn't put a lot back here. I put a toy box for the dog I assumed this household had, and like a painting and a chair and a place to hang up dog leashes. Speaking of which, though, I think I forgot to add a food bowl in the kitchen. I added decorative treats, though, in the back hallway, so I guess they have those, but I will try to remember to add a food bowl into this house before I upload this to the gallery, but if I don't, that's a really easy thing to fix, fortunately. So I was imagining this house has a dog, but you don't have to have a dog here, so maybe you'll just delete a couple of dog items anyway. It's not too big of a deal. But anyway, this is that laundry space. I have a washer and dryer, a bunch of cabinetry places for your laundry to go, and a sink in here. It's pretty simple, but I thought it was a nice use of the space since I really wasn't sure how to split up this entry area. And then we're moving upstairs, and I'm starting to work on the first bedroom, which I was imagining 2 kids are sharing. It's actually a child and a toddler that are sharing this room. I thought that was a cute idea. It's not something I've done in a long time, but I really liked the idea of it. I use this bed, which is a newer toddler bed that we got when the infant update came out. It's the one that you can convert the crib into a toddler bed. And so I tried to pick a bed that kind of matched that. And so I ended up with this one from Eco Lifestyle. This room is definitely like pink and yellow mostly, but I think it's a really cute color scheme. I put this gorgeous tree decal between the beds and kind of played off of that in the rest of the room. So there is a lot of like really cute animal items and fun colors in here, lots of toys. And of course, I tried to make it so the kids' side had some more things in it because it makes sense that they've acquired more things over time and might have some more, I guess, advanced toys. It's not like anything too wild. I don't think these kids are wildly different in age, but I feel like that side just has a little bit more decoration than the toddler side does. Got a little clock over there. I really like the cloud decals I put on the wall. I also got a void critter over there, whereas the toddler side just really has those clouds. And then I got a bookcase over in this corner, which I thought was really cute. And I believe, the height chart as well. We have a few of those from different packs, but I think that one in particular is adorable. And I needed to add a dresser in this space and a dollhouse. The cool thing about the dollhouses is I know they're absolutely massive in the game, but you can scale them down and they still function, which is so helpful. So that's what I did in this space so I could make sure that it all fits. And then we're working on the dresser. Just have a mirror and some of those butterfly decals. Or not even decals, they're 3D. I used to use those all the time in my kids' rooms, and I don't remember the last time I used it now, other than this build. And so I thought that was a nice addition, especially with the nature vibe I was going for in here. So that's what I opted for. And then we are working on the teenager's room, which this is going to be a room for a gamer. It ends up being really dark. I originally wasn't sure what color scheme I was going for, but it ends up being pretty dark in here, and I love how this space came out. I actually really, really love those gaming posters I put on the wall. There's like a Minecraft one and a freezer bunny, and it's just really cute. So I used a lot of high school years in this particular room, which makes sense for a teenager room. I love that pack. I think the Brindleton Bay is so good. I know not everyone's a huge fan of the gameplay, but I think the Brindleton Bay is amazing. And it also just has a special place in my heart since I built some of the houses and lots that came with high school years. So it's always just going to be, I feel like I'm a little bit biased and really love that pack. But anyway, this is that other room I had mentioned that's sort of like a extra bonus room, family room, rumpus room, whatever you want to call it. It's at the end of the hallway on the top floor. I created this giant sectional in this space for the whole family to relax on. We have a lot of built-ins and a TV, and I believe I add an easel up here as well as the scouting board, a bunch of different toys, and I think there's a computer in here as well. And then the play tent that came with Dream Home Decorator. I always forget that that's from Dream Home Decorator because it's kind of a strange pack for it to come from, like a really cool new kids toy or hideout space. So that'll be in here too. It's a really big item, but we had space. And I just think it's such a fun one. Oh, I also added this. We don't have an infant in this house, but I thought it was realistic to have some infant items around still since, they were just an infant if they're a toddler now. Or you could actually, decorate the space differently. Maybe you do have an infant in the space. So I thought that was kind of cute. But that play tent I just think is so cool. And then this room over on this side is supposed to be like an office/spare bedroom. So I put a Murphy bed in here and a desk space and just like some generic decor because, they want to keep it pretty simple for if they do have guests that stay over. This is another room you could probably convert into a kid's room or just anyone's room. And the weird thing about this room is there are two different doors in here. The one leads to the room where the water heater and the electric box are. And the other one leads to like a storage space, which I think is pretty realistic in a lot of homes that like the attic is off of one of the bedrooms and stuff like that, or storage areas. So I just kind of wanted to channel that into this home. And it also helped with the fact that the floor plan over here was really weird. And that was how I was able to figure it out. So in this room, I just have like a bunch of boxes, some old mirrors. I also put the old crib from when the baby was an infant. I liked the idea of that. A lot of these things are from the basement treasures kit. That's such a good one. And then we're back outside and working on the landscaping. And as you can see, the grass all of a sudden is bright green now. I moved a sim into the household so I could play around with the lighting a little bit better. And I think it was a good decision. I really like how this space looks. I'm just trying to fill up the greenery out front. I didn't want to have too many flowers. I don't know why. That's just not a vibe I like most of the time, unless I'm doing like a gardener's cottage or something like that where I really want it to be overgrown with flowers, which maybe I'll do something like that sometime soon. Although I feel like that's something I do pretty often, so maybe not. I don't know. I'm always unsure what I want to do because I feel like I've done everything so many different times, but I also just love building and I always want to. So it's kind of hard to choose what I'm going to create. But anyway, I'm putting some dirt around these pathways just to make them look a little bit more realistic and getting a path to the backyard and drawing some terrain paint back here. The backyard has a few things in it, but it's not too busy of a space. I don't tend to have really busy, like detailed backyards for some reason. I love landscaping, but I don't love decorating backyards. I don't know why, but I always leave it to last and then I'm like, ugh. So I do get some cute things out there, and we'll get to that here shortly. But first, I'm just adding this little fence to fill up this front portion of the yard that was empty and getting some more greenery over here to really finish it off. And I was glad that I did that. I think that helps so much with the run of the build. I also added this little tree from Cats and Dogs. I think it is so pretty. And I believe I include the mailbox out in the front here, kind of like shoved into the fencing, but maybe I do that at the end. Anyway, we're in the backyard now, and I am getting a barbecue and then a big table and chairs. And I changed the swatch of this a few different times, but I just wanted to have a big spot for your Sims to dine outside. I thought that made sense. And this umbrella is actually from Show Live Edit Objects from my wedding stories. There's a few different colors of it, but I opted for the blue one here. I just thought it looked nice by the water. And then I'm getting some more plants over here to really finish the landscaping in the back. I didn't show all of it, but I included some of it. I had a hot tub out here as well as a kiddie pool. You could probably rearrange this backyard and fit an actual pool if you'd prefer to, but I figured we're so close to the beach, it was fine to just go down there. And then here I am changing the colors of the chairs and the table because I wasn't happy with them. And of course, getting some more flowers. And I also really love the swing set that I included. And adding some more terrain paint, and that should be pretty much it for this build. Just getting a couple of planter boxes, a couple of finishing touches. We got the jungle gym back here, or the monkey bars, I should say. And then finally getting that mailbox out front like I had mentioned. But that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Please enjoy those screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.